Welcome to the Mainly Eminem Podcast in association with ePro. A very special episode for you today. Joining us is a Detroit-based MC who's been setting the hip-hop scene alight, known for his phenomenal wordplay, global perspective and unique journey as a certified physician by day and a lyrical powerhouse by night. He is making history as the first Detroit MC to collaborate with the legendary Rakim. Their new single, Not To Be Defined, which is produced by Dem Joints, is available everywhere now. Fresh from its premiere on Eminem's Shady 45, the track is already being hailed as a hip-hop manifesto. Ladies and gentlemen, we are absolutely delighted to welcome Lazarus on today's show. How are you, mate? Thank you very much for joining us.
Of course, man. It's a pleasure.
So, well, first things first. First of all, congratulations on the track itself. But we are dying to know how it all came about and, obviously your first interaction with Rakim and basically how it came from a conversation to a track.
And it's just crazy. One of my big mentors is Chuck D, and he's been putting a lot of MCs up on me. A lot of the legendary MCs like even Grandmaster Cass, who I've been interacting with a lot recently. So like I'm talking like the OGs, the originators, the complete pioneers of hip hop, who have been coming to learn about me and my story, and that in the unique sense of me being the only physician who's rapping, and pushing the education narrative forward. So, that being the case, like I ran into, Rakim's team and his people. So Rakim had a show in Vegas last year, and that's when I really had a chance to really sit down with him and kick it with him about what my intentions are in hip hop. And he was really, really admiring that. And, Rakim is the type of MC who, is very difficult to impress somebody like that. Somebody who set basically the groundwork for all our favorite MCs alive today. And then we started to build a relationship. And I didn't know that it was going to build up to me getting a track, because the information that I was getting was that, Rakim doesn't really work with people like that. He doesn't, if you look at his track record, he doesn't have very many collaborations at all.
That's right, yeah.
So I didn't really think that was going to happen, that we were going to venture into that, and how particular he is about the tracks too. If somebody provides him a track or gives him, something to work on. I got introduced to Dem Joints around the time when God Sent Me came out. So he started, kind of going through my catalog, and, it's a domino effect, once you start working with somebody and then other people around start noticing you. And then he became a fan, and we had a conversation back when God Sent Me came out that we would do something together. So when the whole idea of me doing a song possibly with Rakim, if he likes the track, came up, is that I went to Dem Joints as one of the many producers I went to at that time. And he gave me a beat pack at the time, and I was just listening to all these it was like 12 beats in there, man. So I was like going through them.
Oh.
And then Rakim had gone through them as well, and then it was the track for Not To Be Defined was in there, and it just clicked from my angle, from his angle. We just kind of clicked right on that record. And Rakim dropped the verse, and then that's when I knew that this shit was about to go on.
So when you knew it was real. So like obviously you're the first Detroit MC to collaborate with Rakim. So how was that experience of working like with him? How did it go? Did you just send a verse?
It's so much pressure then came over my shoulder with that. It's just like now I have to hold it down for the Motor City, being the first MC from Detroit to do a song with Rakim. Like, I cannot let anybody down, not my fans, not Rakim's fans, and most definitely not the fans of Detroit hip hop. So it was just a lot of pressure that was on my shoulders. So yeah, Rakim had dropped his verse. I actually had another hook on the track, a little bit more aggressive where I was going with the track. But then when I heard the way Rakim wanted to ride it, and then we were doing FaceTimes when he was in the studio, we were on a FaceTime call. And then when he dropped his verse, I kind of just redid my hook. And then I went in the direction that I felt that, that would be suitable for the track with what Rakim did on there. And then we got the track. Rakim loved the record when he heard it. That meant so much to me when I got the feedback from him, that he really, because he could have easily been like, yo, I'm not feeling the vibe of this. Let's either change it or cancel it. And so when he acknowledged and respected it, the bars, and he said, yeah, this a go record, it's a green light. I can't really explain how that felt to me. I'm like, yo, this is real. Like, I can't believe this is about to happen. And then it was brought up at that time that we're going to shoot a video. Let's do a video. I got my man, Matt Alonzo, who had done a beautiful job on Scalpel and God Sent
that's
Me.
right,
So I got him on board to shoot the video. And then Rakim he's such a busy man. He's all over the place. Initially, we were going to shoot it in New York. We had thoughts of shooting in Detroit, but then he was going to the BET Awards. He had a performance with Mariah Carey over there. So we actually fit it into his schedule during that time. It was in June. And then that's where we shot the video on a rooftop in downtown Los Angeles.
He's the pioneer of hip hop music. He's been, was it the 80s? He's been when he started originally, wasn't it?
Yeah, yep. And we have to pay homage. We have to pay homage to the people that laid the groundwork for us. And I feel like when I was even doing my verse and I had that bar about when I talk about the presidential scholarship, because the people had a problem with me being educated and going to college, but I'm like, yo, but I studied from Rakim, so I didn't study from the narrative that you guys say. You could dumb it down and talk about strip club stuff and just focus on this type of music. But I'm like, wait, but I studied Rakim. I'm a Rakimologist, so I coined the term.
I love that line. I love that. So good.
Yeah.
Rakimologist. That'll be in the Oxford Dictionary in a few years, and love it. So, as a certified physician and a full-time rapper, how do you balance the two careers? How did your medical background influence the lyrical elements of this track?
Of this particular track, I think the thing that I brought into this track was just the pride of being educated. Like I feel like even rappers who might have a background in education, they shy away from talking about it or pushing their chest out like, yo, I went to school. Like I don't think you ever see anybody do that. So when I said that line, like execs, they got a problem with the fact that went to college with the presidential scholarship. It was just kind of like me saying like, y'all told me that this was not something to promote or talk about in a record, but I'm here with Rakim and I'm proudly putting my chest out like, yeah, I went to college, I went to school. Yeah, I graduated. Yeah, I got a diploma. Yeah, I got a medical degree. And I'm great because of that. Like I have to boast that. Like this is what makes me dope. That's what makes me a true hustler. And that's the vibe that I gave off on the track, and I'm just proud of that.
Is the fact that you went bar for bar with him as well. But can't be many MCs out there that can be on the same level as him lyrically.
This was the ultimate test for me as an MC. To me, this is kind of like my black belt trial. Like, am I really as great as I feel I am? If I can hold my own on a track with the God MC and have somebody not want to skip the track after Rakim is finished, because I feel like anybody who follows Rakim will just get skipped because Rakim is that phenomenally great. But for me to feel like I could hold my own and carry the rest of the song after he's done and not have you skip or turn off the track, to me that's like the biggest win in my career.
Yeah, well, without a doubt, you managed that, and it's doing phenomenal over on YouTube as well with the views, which you must be pretty happy with so far.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited. No Life Shack did a nice little review of it too. I just watched that. Shout out to No Life Shack, man, by the way.
Shout out No Life Shack. So I'm just looking at the collaborations that Rakim has done over the last few years, and there's not been many. You have to go sort of back to 2020 when he done. So in terms of the track, is it on Rakim's up and coming EP?
Yeah, so that's crazy, right? The song was actually my song for my album, and then they liked the track so much when it was all done and they saw everything that they actually wanted to put it on his project. So that was beyond flattering. Like, okay,
ridiculous.
This is actually, I'm still able to use it for my own album, which I still plan on putting it, but it's like a dual single because now that's actually the lead single off of his project, which comes out August 29th, called The Re-Up, which he's getting ready to drop. And yeah, Not to Be Defined is going to be the lead single off that.
Mate, that is, yeah. I got to get you to sign. I'm going to order the physicals of this EP
Absolutely,
as well.
let's get it, man.
You to sign it, definitely has to be. I've got a
At the
Detroit.
Green Tape too. I think they have if there's a website that you can go on and actually get the physical copies from. It's on my Instagram, the link to it, and you could actually order the cassette tape. You know how they used to have the little cassette tapes and stuff.
Yeah, you got to sign one for me, mate. It's got to happen.
Absolutely.
So we've got also on the show, we've got a co-host, Ross and Blake. Ross, you've got a question or two for Lazarus?
For sure. Yeah, I was gonna go back and say the pressure of sort of like coming up, working with obviously Rakim is going to be nuts, right? Because like you said, he's got quite a high sort of title, I guess, in hip hop. But the one thing I want to know as well is like when you knew this beat was being done by Dem Joints, what did you sort of expect at first? Like obviously you said you got sent a beat pack. Like how many variations did we get before we landed on what we've got now?
There was all types of beats on there. There was all types of different styles of tracks. There was like 2 or 3 of them that felt like Rakim could go crazy on them. So as soon as he said, "Yeah, this is the one, this one," so this is the one we did. It's crazy that what happened also was that I recently went to Snoop Dogg's house and I was invited over there. And I had King Crooked was there. They're shooting a video for a song with Snoop Dogg, Method Man, and Master Killer. I'm in the video actually with Snoop.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
insane because that's like that's like kind of a bit of a gauntlet there, right? Of all the artists that you've got there,
yeah.
that's such a mixture that you've got such a yeah. I couldn't even imagine being in a room like that. I'd fold immediately. Yeah. But with regards to obviously working with Rakim again, and obviously your ties with like Wu-Tang, do you feel like you had to bring like a certain style that you could kind of rely on working alongside Rakim, or was this very much like a you said you mentioned about the pressure of having to go through the writing process of this song. Did you find that you could explore a lot more than you kind of anticipated at first when you heard the beat as well?
When you hear a song of mine like Scalpel or some super lyrical track, when you listen to this and the way Rakim's rapping on this, like I couldn't come on this track like how I came on Scalpel. It
Mm.
wouldn't make any sense. So every track is a new assignment. So for me, I had to figure out what I can bring to the table. For me, in any collaboration, it's all about matching energies and matching the wavelengths because I flip a lot. I flip my flow a lot. I go into the chopper bag. Sometimes I slow it down. Sometimes I put a little story in there. Sometimes I put, it's a little bit more aggressive. Sometimes it's a little bit calmer. So I like to keep variations going. So all depending on what the track is. And I definitely couldn't have brought a Scalpel flow on this one. It just wouldn't make
Mm.
sense.
No, yeah, I completely get that as well, and I think because one of my all-time like favorites actually, this is going back to like my Hopsin days, was
Yeah.
listening to obviously Leatherface, which is
Oh, yeah.
one of my favorites
Yeah.
as well. That one still gets. I kind of have this old school playlist where I tend to go through, and that's probably sitting in the top 3 or top 5, I'd say, and it just
Oh,
brings me back to a certain type of time when I used to listen to hip hop for I guess what kind of gets like overshadowed now with the more sort of like lyrical and I guess like picking different pockets, the more like intense schemes. Like you said, everyone's rapping about cars and money and stuff these days, which don't get me
yeah.
wrong, it sounds good on the radio, but I do think what I really liked about your most recent track was it just immediately felt this felt like almost relaxing, but also
Yeah.
everything that was being said was ridiculously impressive. So yeah, I just wanted to say
Yeah.
massive hats off.
Yeah. But yeah, I just love bending words, flipping words, and switching the flow where you might think that the whole verse is gonna sound like this, but then it doesn't. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Blake, have you got any questions?
I just want to start off by saying I absolutely love the track.
Thank you.
I mean, like the whole experience of what you've been doing over the last couple of years. Obviously, Pale Blue Dart, Scalpel, God Sent Me. I can't remember the one you did with the Pyramids of
Yeah,
Giza.
one
I
for
can't
the
remember the
ages.
name.
One for the ages.
Yeah, mate. Honestly, the road you've been on as a rapper and everything you've done over the last year or two has been absolutely insane. So, and obviously this is, like you said, one of the best experiences you've probably ever had as an MC.
Yeah.
With such a pioneer. So, and obviously in your career you've had so many brilliant things happen. Obviously, you became the first artist, hip hop artist played in space. I don't care what Missy Elliott fans say.
Yeah.
You were the first.
Yeah. Shout out to Missy, by the way.
Oh yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
let's not discredit when
Right.
you were there first. So obviously, your career's taking you over this many different paths. But obviously, being able to work with a pioneer like Rakim, is there anything that you feel like you've taken away from this? Obviously, you've been in the game this long and you've
Yeah.
learned so much. But obviously, working with him, is there anything you feel like, wow, I'm gonna have this with my career, and I've learned maybe I could do this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a certain confidence booster, that happens when you have the God MC telling you that, you got this, you can do this, you're gonna take over. Like hip hop,
Yeah, I can
like
imagine.
hip hop is in your hands. Like when you have the God MC telling you that, it's kind of like difficult not to just be excited and confident about what you're able to do next because the thing that's really exciting about it all is the fact that it's like breaking new ground in different ways, and that's what I love to do with hip hop, like break new ground. Even when I went to Egypt, I was just there on vacation, but I don't recall MCs getting in front of the pyramids rapping, so I want to do that. The space thing, it's like no one's ever rapped about being out in outer space, and I have an opportunity to play out of the International Space Station. I'm like, yeah, I want to do that because that breaks new boundaries in hip hop, breaking new ground, and I love doing that.
To be fair, it is like every project, like, you know, Scalpel to God Sent Me, like even that was two completely different ends of it.
Yeah.
You know, like it was masterful work of art. So no, it was lovely to witness.
Yeah, shout out to Mr. Porter, man. He provided the necessary production for me to do what I had to do on that one, man.
So in terms of future plans, I don't know if you're allowed to reveal anything, but do you have anything planned for the next couple of weeks, next few months, or even towards the end of this
Yeah,
year?
so I'm working on my solo album, hard and heavy, right now. Working with a great team of people and just trying to, orchestrate it. I can't really leak or reveal too much information about upcoming projects, but I did want to add that I did recently do a feature for John Connor, who's a fantastic artist from Michigan. He was signed to Aftermath. You probably heard him on the Compton album that came out.
The soundtrack,
Yeah, that song's out. It's called Everybody Talking. So make sure you guys check that out. We're gonna shoot a video for it too.
Do you have a particular wish list of artists you would like to collaborate with in the near future?
The artists that I listen to, that grab me when I listen to their verses, it's always an inclination for me to want to do it. So Rakim definitely, that's off the bucket list now, right? As we know, I work with Ghostface Killer. To me, right now, 2025, the MCs that are just really grabbing my attention. So I talked to Pusha T on social media. He follows me on Instagram, right? So and he's killing it right now with the Clips album.
No half.
And so Pusha T would
Yep.
definitely be somebody I would love to do a track with. Obviously, Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick's verse on Chains and Whips is just fire. I love the way he was word playing on that joint. And he paid homage to Rakim on
Yeah.
there, which isn't crazy. Kendrick, Pusha T. Oh, Nas. Nas just did a fantastic verse on the song that he did with Raekwon that just came out. I don't know if you guys listened to that one.
No, not yet. No, but it's on my list.
He went crazy. Well, people said he was dissing Jim Jones on there, but then Raekwon went on a live and said no, he wasn't actually dissing Jim Jones. That was a fire collab. I just listened to that one, and then and of course Eminem. I think that would be the pinnacle of all things.
Yeah, that would. I mean, go crazy.
You never know where he gonna come.
This is what we were kind of saying when we
exactly.
spoke about the Animals verse recently, and we were kind of saying that, like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, like I've been following Jid for years, and I saw him at a festival here back in like 2018, I think it was, maybe 2019, and he was insane. But I must imagine that even when you get into maybe even like Kendrick's like sort of level, there is a certain few artists, and I would say Rakim is going to be one of them as well, where it doesn't matter how big you are, you're gonna get nervous.
The thing about M is you never know where he's gonna come from. You never know what bag what pocket he's trying to hit. You never know what angle he's trying to take. And I feel like I'm on that same page with my dynamics and my flow and where I come with it. So I just think that would be such a legendary collaboration for hip hop. The day that something like that goes down, man, it's gonna be monumental beyond monumental. So
You know who I'd love to hear you on a track with? I'd love to hear you on a track with Busta Rhymes or LL.
Oh yeah, LL Cool J for sure. Yeah, LL did a phenomenal job on that last album he dropped. He still sounded like the hungry, youthful version of himself, which was very, very nice to see. A lot of the rappers from that generation are just coming and striking gold, bro. Like LL Cool J is one of them. You got the Clips coming out now. You got Rakim, obviously on this track, not to be defined. I mean,
Ice Cube's album was good. Ice Cube did very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Ice Cube's album was
it's
good.
good to see these guys still got it, because they always try to, it's an age thing, and once you get past a certain age, you can no longer be an MC or forget all that. And Public Enemy too. Shout out to my brother Chuck D. He just dropped gems too, man. So
yeah, shout out Chuck. We've been trying to get him on the podcast as well. We're still waiting to hear from him, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, man, most definitely. But my whole thing is like hip hop, keeping it alive. 2025 hip hop is definitely alive. And there was a time where I felt like hip hop was going downward, but now I feel like there's a lot of MCs out here that are coming up, in the forefront and just making noise and keeping hip hop alive. So yeah, I'm happy to say that hip hop is alive in 2025.
Right. The three of us have actually got a question. Don't know if you've been seeing it on social media, but there seems to be a little battle between the UK and the USA, particularly Skepta versus Jonah Lucas. Have you dived?
Yeah. I've listened. Joyner Lucas is dope, man. I listen to my personal preference of Joyner Lucas is when he does his role playing tracks and stuff. Like the I'm Not Racist kind of song. When he gets in that when he gets into
Yeah, it's
that creative
storytelling.
space and he starts doing those kind of records, I love it. And but he's a spitter, he's a dope MC, and I love I always love hearing his material. I did hear one of the guys that was trying to diss M.
Oh God, yeah,
And
bit
yeah,
zoo,
that was
whatever.
yeah. I'm gonna just be completely 100% honest because I don't like to like sugarcoat nothing. But yeah, I thought that was trash, man.
Well, yeah, don't worry. The entirety of the UK is on that as
Yeah,
well.
so as long as that's not the face and representation of the UK rap scene, we're cool.
No, I tell you what, if I could give you a good example to settle that right now, the same. So another guy in the UK, a battle rapper who's been, you guys might know, Mick Righteous or Mike Righteous. He's
Okay.
just released a response towards Zoo, basically humbling him and telling him to sit down. I would say if you want to hear what the UK has to offer, go and check that
Yeah.
track out because holy
Yeah.
crap, handed him his ass.
definitely.
But yeah, insane.
No, but hey, man, shout out to the hip hop scene over there. And I salute all MCs that put it down, man, and get their bars right and do that stuff. So I'm not over here to disregard anybody or any particular area of the world's hip hop music, man. Like I said,
Mm.
I'm also aligned very well with the hip hop scene in India and Pakistan, and I honor all those places, all the places around the world that are keeping hip hop alive and strong and have their MCs doing it in their own way. So
It's been a good year for hip hop so far. So I'll wait to see what happens next. I think we've got a few albums. I think Metro Boomin has an album coming out
Mm.
next week. I think he's got, is it 20
Yeah,
features, Ross?
20 so far. I don't know. There's a few that have been confirmed, but I think he's like teasing it as it gets closer.
yeah,
But
that's gonna be exciting. Yeah,
yeah.
Metro Boomin Inspire, man. That would be I would love to work with Metro Boomin. Great production. Actually, the freestyle I did on DJ Who Kid was
Yeah, that's right. Like that. Yeah.
yeah,
Was
they
it,
like
was it
that.
like that? Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
beat.
I float on that. So I was like, imagine if I had like a studio recording with this guy's production, man. This would be crazy.
Got to be one of the best producers in hip hop just now, like over the last couple of
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Another thing on my bucket list is to work with like DJ Premier. Somebody like DJ Premier. Like I would love to do a track with, because now like that I've worked with some of these top tier producers like Mr. Porter and Fred Vreck and Dem Joints. Like Premier would be somebody that's on my bucket list. Like imagine if I did a track with him.
Or the mixing that man is capable of is actually quite terrifying. It's insane.
We need to put it into the
Yeah,
simulation. Let's get it
manifest it.
done. Let's try and get this done. Manifest it. That's the word I was looking
Yeah.
for.
Who do you guys consider to be like, who are y'all favorite MCs right now?
What a question. I think just now, just with Jonah Lucas, ADHD 2 coming out, I've been listening to that quite a lot recently. I've been into Jid quite a lot
Yeah.
ever since his Fuel collaboration with him, as well. Of course, Clips.
Oh, yeah.
Pusha T. He's on fire, and he has been on fire for the last couple of years as well. And I feel like this album was a bit slept on, but the Carter 6 by
Yeah.
Lil Wayne, it did come out on the start of June, but it doesn't seem to be many people talking about
Right.
it. But it's I think it's a
Yeah.
fantastic album.
I heard the track Tech Nine did with Lil Wayne. I wish Lil Wayne would have rapped on there. That would have been crazy, right?
Yeah, he's kind of getting that. I'm not really the revival treatment over his latest album. It's kind of hard because I mean, at the moment, I'd say I'm really enjoying what Jid's putting out at the moment. That track he even did with Offset, Bodies, was insane.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to
Oh.
say my current most listened to artist is going to be Eminem's up there. I still can't stop listening to Kendrick's album. It's just still sitting in the back of my head rent free. It's also probably because he's touring the UK at the moment, so I'm just envious of everybody that's out able to see him.
dope.
But I mean, I'm also listening to a lot of like I guess Fred Again's music as well, or also like Skepta at the moment. Obviously, they dropped that Victory Lap, but I've been listening to the feature with Denzel Curry. Denzel Curry's probably one of my top 5 like favorite artists that's come out of like the relatively new generation. So I'm still listening to his shit on repeat, and I know that he's dropped not long ago. So yeah, but it kind of varies like day to day. Depends if I want to listen to some stuff from people in the UK or if I'm going to go for my sort of general hip hop playlist. But yeah, and Nas. I've been listening to a lot of Nas again recently.
Yeah.
His King's Disease album run was just ridiculous. That gets a constant rotation for me.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that was crazy to see. He was dropping album after album after album after album after. That was crazy.
It's just heat.
He did that,
Constant
and
heat.
he had 3 King's Disease albums. Then he had 3 Magic albums. It was like 6 albums.
That's right,
Yeah,
Magic.
back to
Yes,
back
that's it. Fantastic
for
albums.
sure.
Right, gentlemen, is there any other questions we would like to ask Lazarus before we head?
No, I think I'm all good. I'm just obviously, yeah, again, really thankful that you obviously came on to chat to us and talk about your new song. I guess the other thing I was going to ask as well actually was the one last question I did have. What's like your favorite like process of when you're making a music video? How involved do you get with that? Because I watched the video for this track as well, and yeah, again, really liked it. It's something I studied in I guess college, which is like the step before university here in England. So
I'm heavily involved in every step of every process. So whenever you hear my music, I'm, from the engineering to the mixing to the mastering to the video, I oversee everything tremendously. So, obviously I have my people that I work with. So, my engineer, shout out to him. His name is Hugo, out here in Las Vegas. He's just fantastic. I love working with him when I record my vocals. And then Jake Bass. Shout out to Jake. Shout out to his father, Jeff Bass.
Yeah.
I was at, it's crazy. Jeff Bass just called me like 2 days ago to congratulate me on the single. And he said, Jeff Bass told me that this is the first time he felt so happy about hip hop in many, many years. He's like, yeah, you brought that. He's like, I didn't like hip hop for a while, but you made me like it again and love it again. So he gave me like this real emotional talk the other day, and I was just so happy to hear it. And then from the mixing, mastering, and then video production, Matt Alonso has just been, my chemistry with him has been really great. So we'll sit down and we'll discuss he'll give me ideas, I'll give him ideas, and then we kind of construct the ideas together of what we want to do visually. We did that with Scalpel and God Sent Me, and also with this project.
Fantastic. So, no, listen, Lazarus, thank you very much for coming on. We've been following your music for a good 3-4 years now. Just seems like only recently we spoke to you for the first time. I think it was over on ePro's YouTube page as well. So, yeah, listen, you're doing fucking phenomenal. Just keep it up, and we're going to, all eyes will be focused on you over the next couple of months as well, and it'll be interesting to see your future releases as well. So, no, thank you very much for that. And same again to everyone that's listened. If you have not listened to it yet, what are you doing with yourselves? Not to be defined. Rakim, Lazarus, it's available everywhere now, so make sure you give it a listen. Thank you to Ross and Blake as well for joining us on today's show. Thank you to you for, of course, listening to us. Once as always, we're available on all social media platforms and streaming services. Just look for the Mainly Eminem Podcast. And thanks again to Lazarus, and we'll see you again soon.
Sounds good. Peace out.